Hey JSOC crew, today we're kicking off a brand new series going through the book of James. And we're going to be going through James in particular because as James covers each topic that he lists in his scripture, they are kind of like how-tos of how to live out the Christian walk. So as we walk through this series, we are going to be looking at these different topics. We're going to be seeing what we should be doing, what we should not be doing, and what a result is of it. So we're going to go week by week, and we're going to go through a different topic, and we're going to be studying each one individually to those points. So today we're talking about James 1, 1 through 18, which talks about trials and temptations. When it comes to trials, I feel like I have a long list of trials that I have faced in my life. Anything from moving, being 13 years old, from being on the East Coast to moving to Minnesota, to figuring out how to raise my son and figuring out how to take care of another life form. And now I have two of them, so I'm currently going through a trial, you could argue. So James talks about trials, and this is what he says. He says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, when you face trials of many kinds, that through the testing of your faith, you will give birth to perseverance and not lack anything." So what does he mean when he says this? Well, what he's saying is, as we walk through these trials, we will be able to withstand whatever we're going through this perseverance. And on the other end, we will be able to see all that God has for us. We will not lack anything. And he goes on to say that we can ask for wisdom to get through these trials as well, as long as we hold our faith true, that we don't doubt, that we don't give in, that we really solidly trust that we can get through this with God's help. And so he says, as a result of this, you will gain these things. One of the things he talks about is the wisdom that I mentioned. Another one is that we will understand that God gives good gifts, that we will understand that we are the first fruits. We are understanding of the truth to go and tell others this same truth. And he also talks about this crown of life. Now, this crown of life is an interesting piece that he throws in here, because he shows what we gain when we go through trials, but he also talks about when we fail the trials. And resulting in failing trials is temptations. Temptations are the things that arise when you're going through the trials and you're like, man, I just want the easy way out. Where is it? Somebody give me an out. I want to walk through that. And scripture makes note that God will never tempt you. God will never provide you that easy way out of the trial, but God will provide easy way outs of temptation. There will always be a way to get out of temptation. We may not always choose it, but it's always there. And so as we're walking through these temptations and these trials, God is asking us to persevere. That's what James is saying, to persevere, push through, get up over and over and keep going as we persevere through these things, and that we will gain the crown of life. On the flip side, though, he says, if you give in to the temptations, you will give birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, will give birth to death. And so he's trying to make note here that we have been given this life. We have been given a new life to be able to live out the things that God has called us to do. But if we continuously give into our sin and we continuously give into the flesh, that we will end up exactly where we were, no more than a dead body, not living out the life that God has given us to do. And so I think of another passage when all this stuff is going around, that God uses works in life to the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. It's Romans 8:28. And in Romans 8:28, what God is saying, what Paul is actually saying to the Romans, is that there is nothing that God can't use. All these trials and temptations and things we walk through, God is able to use those for our good. But we have to choose to persevere through them and not give in to temptation. So I want to challenge you guys this week to Ask God for that perseverance, that wisdom. We face little trials and temptations every single day. We're constantly looking for the easy way to do things. But James challenges us to persevere through the hard things so that we can gain life, so that we can gain wisdom, so that we can gain good gifts. And I'll see you guys next week.